Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Hey, Tom, good morning. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday to you. How are things going, Bob?
They are just lovely, Tom. As you know, everything is like rainbows and unicorns.
Rainbows and unicorns. Nice. It's good for a Thursday morning.
It is. And let me tell you right off the bat what today is.
Before we even this is what our show is, and this is
all right, go ahead if you have to, but this is a good one.
Well, for those people who are listening on our podcast, they can't see the nice graphics we have. They don't get to see your daily, I don't want to call them gyrations because they're not gyrations.
I do move around a lot.
Bob likes to move around a lot. So you're missing that on the podcast, unfortunately. So this is today's Antidote, our daily discussion around a topic to help you try to find that one thing, the one thing that'll help you move forward and better understand how you are a real renegade, and it is okay to be a renegade. So we'll have a conversation around the topic. You can feel free, if you are watching this on Facebook Live, to add your thoughts and comments. And if not, you can always share them inside the Ring of Renegades. We'll get to that later. Or at the end, you can always share your one thing, because Bob and I will offer our antidote, that thing to help you move forward, whether you use it today or in the future. So one of the things we love to do, not only at the start of this show, but also at the start of every session with our clients, is talk about what are we celebrating. And so Bob has generously for weeks now been providing us with the thing of the day that we can celebrate. Now, Bob, share what your thing is.
It is National Potato Day. Yes, that's right. National Potato Day. Did you freeze on me? Oh, Tom couldn't take it, so I'm going to keep going without him. It's National Potato Day, and I was going to have a discussion with Tom about how I just love potatoes. I like every kind of Did you hear that? Did you disappear on me?
Yeah, I had something happened. I had a little clip. So I did hear something on National Potato Day.
It's National Potato Day, and I was going to have a discussion with you. I like all forms of potato except au gratin.
Interesting.
And I really do like au gratin potatoes, but the dairy is not good for me. But hash browns, French fries, tater tots are a personal favorite. Oh my. I am, or as I coined with a nephew, pillows of potato.
Pillows of potatoes.
Yes. My nephew Zachary and I were out and we went to a Sonic's for lunch. And I said to him, have you ever eaten here? He's like, no. I said, wait till you taste the pillows of potato. And so we went in and he said, I'd like a big order of the pillows of potato. And the woman's looking like, what are you talking about? Like the tots.
That's right.
Oh, what size? And then he was eating them. He's like, they are really pillows of potato. Yes.
So what is your favorite form of potato?
I think it would be tater tots. Really? Or Waffle House hash browns, crispy.
Crispy hash browns are one of my favorite. They have to be really crispy.
Yeah.
I asked them for please extra crispy them. I was out for breakfast the other day with Liz and they were not really crispy.
Oh, but
I didn't send them back.
Then they don't seem like they're even cooked at all.
Then it's like eating mashed potatoes.
Yes.
Which is probably my least favorite form of potatoes.
I would agree with you.
My favorite, which is interesting that this now becomes my favorite.
What?
Twice baked potatoes. Can't beat it.
They are good. Yes.
Because I do like the crispy outside skin of the potato. And then you have the baked. Those are good.
Yes. Yes. So, folks, if you'd like to share what kind of potato is your best and favorite potato, please, because I get sometimes in a routine And I'd love to get some recipe ideas from you on how to cook potatoes, because you never know. There might be a way out there I haven't heard of.
It's possible.
So
I'm sure
Tom,
there is.
why don't we shift from potatoes? And by the way, if the Potato Council in Idaho would like to sponsor the show, we're there for you. We can talk potatoes every day if need be.
Certainly, we can work a potato into just about every topic, even our topic today, which is lessons learned about follow-up. And I would say that the waitress didn't do a really good job of following up on my request for extra crispy home fries. So I think that I'm not sure that's a good transition. Anyhow, that's our conversation today is about, because we've been talking all week about follow-up methods and ways that we can reconnect and engage with people. And, 2 days ago, we talked about follow-up one-to-one, that method. And yesterday, we talked about the follow-up of one-to-many. So we thought that today would be a good day to have a conversation around some of our lessons learned, some of the things that we have observed, lived through, and know about the various methods of follow-up. So you have a story you want to share on that, Bob?
I do, Tom. And I had 3 stories I was debating telling this morning. I'm going to tell the one that probably will be most interesting to at least one person who I think watches or listens to this program.
Okay.
And that is, I have a person who I was connected with through an intermediary. And this person said, this other person would be a really good client of yours. They really need your help. Met this person and played golf with this person. We talked a lot. We hit it off. Followed up with, a text message, maybe 4 days later. Hey, how's it going? I sent an article around something that he had mentioned, and I followed up with a phone call about a week later. That was back in April. Here we are it's August. I have not followed up since late April. And this is, I would bet, an ideal client for what you and I do. And here's the interesting thing. I was thinking about this in the shower this morning. The reason I'm not calling him is really simple. I'm afraid there's a small chance he'll say no. And rather than get a no from him, I'm going to suspend it because I don't want to hear no.
It's not that you're afraid he'll say yes.
No, I think yes. I think he's a perfect fit.
Okay.
I think there's huge opportunity. And the reason I tell this story, Tom, is I think I'm not unusual. I've talked to a lot of clients over the years. I've talked to a lot of other people who find an excuse. I like to think of it as going up the roller coaster. You get to the top, all you have to do is ask and go down. And rather than that, you're like, oh, I'll just hang up here with, looking up in the sky, wondering, and waiting for that person to take the decisive action. But here's the thing about this person. I know this person. They're incredibly busy. They're running a business. I am not top of mind. I would bet if that person's listening to this, they're going, geez, yeah, I haven't thought about Bob in 2.5 months. And even if they heard me on this program or saw me on this program, still it would be like, yeah, there's Bob. Geez, I wonder when he's going to call me again. He was really diligent for the first 3 weeks.
Did he respond during those first 3 weeks?
Always. I texted him and he texted me back within seconds. I emailed him. He emailed back 2 days later and said, I'm so sorry I don't check this email all the time, but I really appreciate you thinking of me. When I called, he took my call. Like, poof. So we're talking about a fairly good opportunity here.
Sure.
That I have dragged my feet on.
Okay. So when are you going to call?
Well, presumably today, because I kind of ratted myself out.
Kind of.
And in some ways, I think what I've done here is I thought, I'm powering through by bringing this up. Yes, Troy is pointing out the obvious today. You may be hearing crickets in the background. That is not a sound effect. Tom has brought the crickets in.
Yes. I don't know. I have a cricket that I cannot find, and it has been driving me crazy for 3 days. So I need to work on that. So
I like it. I think it gives some credit, some some reality to this.
well, we could, if we were smart, we would figure out a way to ask a question and then let the crickets take over. Would be an interesting sound effect
Yes,
to
it would.
enhance this production.
We have a
Oh.
comment here. I think it might be from Tim. I'm not sure, but it says, "Stop dragging your big feet."
So you said presumably today, you know how we like to be is that as you think about how you plan your day, or maybe you've looked at what does your day look like. So where does that follow-up fall within the plan of your day?
It is probably now, because I've talked about this, the most important thing I need to do today. So I have a little bit of a drive after this meeting. So I will probably try to make a call during that drive. Not probably, I will make a call during that drive.
Okay. So your next step is that during your drive, you will do some sort of follow-up.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Yep. And it'll be a phone call. It's time for a phone call. An email or text isn't going to cut it.
Well, I think especially it's one of those things that you learn that is a good lesson is that after 4 months, it would be odd, maybe not, to send an email or a phone call or a text rather than a direct phone call.
Yeah. And I think I'm going to own up to the situation. Hey, you know what? You just fell off the plate, and I'm really sorry. That's not how I like to act. And I really would, I want to see if there's something that I can do to help you and blah, blah, blah. Where are you with your business and all that stuff? That would be the discussion I would have.
Okay.
I wouldn't just be like, oh, I've been trying to call you for the last 4 months. Oh, I was using the wrong number.
Good excuse. But now I have the right number.
But how many people do you think would use that excuse?
Absolutely.
I'm so sorry. I've been so busy. I have this really big client. And it's been a huge project. And finally, I got some breathing space. And when I had breathing space, you were the first person I thought of.
Well, I think it's one of the things, and we talked about this, I don't know, earlier in this week, it might have been last week, is that, and as you mentioned, it's not like he has been trying to reach you in those 4 months as well. He's probably had other things on his mind. And so I think sometimes we overestimate how much people pay attention to the follow-up that we do. And so the fact that you would do it, he might not even be like, oh, yeah, it's great to hear from you.
Yeah.
Not even worried about the fact that it's been 4 months. Or
he's probably not holding his calendar every day and going, 99 days. Is Bob going to call me today, or is he going to get to 100? You're right. And I think that's part of the mind game that we play with ourselves, that, we think we're so important and people are totally fixated on every move we make. And I don't think they are.
No, because they're so busy dealing with what's real for them. They've got all these things going on in their lives. And at the moment, when you first connected with this person, it was top of mind. And for a few weeks, you stayed top of mind. Doesn't mean that just because you were top of mind, that he was ready to act. He maybe had his own stuff going on, which has forced him to just be so busy that he couldn't even consider whatever opportunity you were going to put in front of him. And I think he might not be now either. And yet it's an opportunity to find that out without worrying about, might he say no? Yeah, maybe he says no. And then if he says no, what would your next step be?
I think I'd still keep checking in with them, because
Sure.
you never know. I mean, no today doesn't mean no tomorrow or the next day.
Correct.
Just means at the moment it's not a fit. And I think that's one of the things when we talk about being a renegade. It's recognizing that no isn't an absolute for the rest of your life. You can never contact this person again, but no means in that moment, it's not right today. Or to use the language you and I are using more and more, it's not what's real for the person today.
Correct.
Situation may get worse tomorrow. It may change tomorrow. It may be, and I've seen this, and I think we all have seen this. Someone says, "Yeah, I'm not interested," and then 2 weeks later, I have a friend who's a electrician, and he said people will say, "Oh yeah, I need you to come out and do these outlets and things. They're getting old." And then he tells them price, and they go, "Nah, I'll wait." And then 2 weeks later, they see sparks
Right.
in the outlet when they plug something in. He gets called. The price is no longer the issue. When can you be out here to fix? Because I'm afraid my house is going to burn.
Sure.
So that urgency comes to people in different situations. And I see this sometimes, people don't have the money now, but then they find the money or they have the money later. I've had people call me and say, "Hey, I had a really good quarter, and I have some money that I wasn't expecting. I'd really like to talk to you about how we could really put that to good use." I'm like, that's great.
Well, I think it also is an opportunity. One of the things that I've had a lot of discussions with my coach about in the past is it a money issue or is it a priority issue? And a lot of times it's a priority. Even with the electrician, the cost may have seemed, all right, I don't have that money. But at that point, it just wasn't a priority because the priority and the costs weren't lining up. When he
Mhm.
saw sparks, it became a real priority and cost was not an issue at that point. And so I think that that's one of the challenges is that when is it a priority? And when it becomes a priority, have we been in touch with these people so that when they desperately need a solution, they know who to turn to. They know that we are someone who could help make that change. And that's, I think, one of the reasons that I'm going to dive right into it, if you don't mind. My one thing.
Just we've got, I think it's Tim. I love that. No means in that moment, it's not what's real for that person. I said that earlier. I think when someone takes the time to write these comments out for us, it really highlights to me that it's something really important to that person and likely to other people. And here's what's funny to me, Tom. I don't remember saying that.
You just quote because you said something about being right, and then you just changed our language. Changed to our language of it's not necessarily what's right, it's just what's real for them in the moment.
Right.
And I think that's the important part of this
And
is
the reason why follow-up's critical, right?
absolutely.
Because the moment could be any moment from now on.
And we won't know that. We can't know that unless we are doing some sort of follow-up. And I think that's now I'm going to dive in with my one thing before you even ask for it. So I think that, one of the lessons learned I have is that the method doesn't matter. I mean, it does in some regards, but what matters is that you are adding value and continuing to reach out and being in mind regularly so that when it becomes a priority, you are top of mind. And I think that is such an important piece because I think all of us, we had that whole poll in the Ring of Renegades Facebook group a week or so ago about, what is your fear about follow-up? And I think there are lots of them. And I think a big part of it is one way to overcome that is just do something. Doesn't matter what it is. Send them a text, shoot them an email. It is something that allows you to be back in front of them. It may not be what someone else might describe as perfect or right. And that's why we're renegades. We just do what's real. And in the moment, if that's what feels real for you, is to send a text. Obviously, today, you feel that what's real for you is making a phone call. Now, it could be you could find out that this person is unavailable all day and won't be able to answer the phone. And so while that seems like the most appropriate response for you, for them, it might have been more impactful if you sent a text because they could respond to that immediately, or an email because they're going to check those in between a day long of meetings.
Yeah.
I
usually follow up phone calls when someone leaves a message with a text that says, "Hey, I just called and left you a message. If you get this first, just delete the message. I was trying to reach you about X, Y, or Z."
Which is advanced follow-up, I would offer. I'm not sure that everybody does that. You could also at the same time say, "Hey, here's an email. I just thought here's a third." Now, some people would say, okay, I get it. You left me a voicemail, you sent me a text. send me an email, it may convey to someone urgency. And you'd be like, well, why is Bob calling me? Why is Bob so urgent to be in touch with me when he hasn't been in touch with me in 4 months? You don't know,
Right.
because we can't know where someone else is at until we get a chance to talk to them and ask them. So what would your one thing be today, Bob?
I think my one thing would be to be creative in follow-up, especially if it's been a while. So I have a client, a really good client, who he and I share tater tot photos with each other. Each time one of us has tater tots. This goes back to when I first met him. We went out to lunch and we were at a diner, and the woman brought tater tots. And somehow they messed up, and I got 2 orders of tater tots instead of 1. And I ate them all. And this person thought that was just the most amazing thing in the world. Well, whenever he goes to Sonic's and gets tater tots, he'll send me a picture. Whenever I get tater tots, I send him a picture. So today, I will go to Sonic's, get some tater tots, and send him a picture and say, hey, celebrating National Potato Day. How about you? And I think that's the kind of creativity and the fun way to do follow-up that doesn't say, I'm looking for your business, I'm desperate, it's August, I don't have anything to do, I'm not making any money, please, please, please go with me. But to me, those fun ways of follow-up, I've had people say, you know what, Bob? I got to give you credit. You made me laugh. You sent me information I needed. And I think that's part of this discussion is whether you do follow up 5 minutes later, 5 days, 5 months later, it's about being creative with it. Because if it's just, hi, it's Bob, it's been 4 months. I know you probably expected me to call you 3 months ago. And I'm sure your company is totally tanking and I probably could have helped you, but I'm here today to save everything. Dun, 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 dun. That's not going to work.
Could work. It's possible.
I don't
Not
think it's going
likely.
to work. In the world I live in, that's not real for me.
Sure. Well, I think that's an important thing. I think that being creative, and I love that because I think it offers people the opportunity to stay connected, as you said, without feeling like you're pressuring someone or feeling like it's a pressure on you to do it. It's just like, hey, you know what? I was thinking about this, and when I was thinking about this, I thought about you, and I thought I know something we share. I think one of the valuable things about what we've tried to do inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group is get to know people on a different level. If you didn't know that person on a different level, it would be very hard to follow up outside of the normal, hey, it's Bob, just checking in and see what's going on. This is an easy way for you to start a conversation over something that you share that will make that person, know, like, and trust you a little bit quicker and not feel like you're just being another salesperson who's trying to follow up with an offer that they can't refuse and they have to take advantage of. And I think that there's real value in the connections that we make and the way that we connect that will change how people and who people want to do business with.
Well, Tom, we've hit the end of the line on this one. I know, wrap a bow around it, right? We've really covered the whole Real Renegade thing today.
We have one more thing to do. 2 more things to do one more thing before I close it out.
Okay.
Because the key thing is it's hard to take action steps, correct? Even though we plan them out, we determine what's the priority.
We say them publicly.
We say them publicly. The next key thing is how do we celebrate doing the action? So if you're going to call this person, which is a big step, you said it's the number 1 priority for the day. How will you celebrate once you do it?
Tater tots.
I love it. Simple, easy, something you like, and it also allows you to accomplish maybe step 2, which is doing follow-up with another person.
Correct. Yep.
Look at you, a real renegade today, showing off your spirit. I love it.
Look at that. Look at that. Every squirrel finds a nut.
Every once in a while. All right, folks, thanks so much for joining us today, whether you joined us on Facebook.
Tom, you'll enjoy this one.
Celebrate by getting a polo shirt. Yeah. I have a feeling this is going to become a constant thread. For those of you who don't know.
I get it. A constant thread. That was good.
Yes. For a while, Bob gave me a hard time about not having Renegade Success Network
Polo shirt.
logoed merchandise, whatever it was, shirt, t-shirt. One of the challenges that I didn't realize initially was that Bob had a size tall. Well, tall is hard to find. Let me tell you, I've done some research on that. So because we talked about it every day, and on Monday, Bob finally was able to wear his shirt, and now others are actually interested. So now I have to work on figuring that piece of it out. So I am sure if you become a regular listener, which we hope you will, and it's easy to do, you can always just like or follow us or subscribe on your favorite podcast, or you can join the Ringer Renegades Facebook group. Will be comments about polo shirts until they are available for our dearest followers. So just a little insight into the history of today's Antidote. So thanks so much for being a part of our show today. We hope that you found our Antidote beneficial, and we'd love to hear yours. So please feel free to share it in the comments if you're on the Facebook Live, or send us a note or a message, or make a comment on our podcast page, because we'd love to hear what you're thinking about. And the other thing you can do, whether it is through Facebook or on a podcast, is please feel free to share this with others who you think are trying to figure out if they're truly a renegade. And maybe they think they are, or they are moving towards that, but they're not sure. It's okay. We're here to help people take those next steps, to know that they can follow their own unique pathway to success, and that it is okay to step outside of the constant echo chamber and the status quo and create your own pathway. So we hope that we will see you inside of our Ring of Renegades Facebook group. It's easy to do. Just go to Facebook, search for Ring of Renegades. Now, it is a private group, so you do have to ask to join. I know. Bob loves the fact that it's a private group. And it's easy.
I'm just happy I'm in a group that's private. This is new. Usually the private group's over there, and I'm not part of it.
Well, it's nice that we are very inclusive. So it's great to have you as a part of this. All you have to do to join is just ask and tell us why you're a renegade, or why you think you're a renegade. And then you can become a part of our growing community, where we are helping people figure out, identify, and take their next step. So we hope that we'll see you inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, or we'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time, for our next edition of today's Antidote, which will be available on your podcast, your local podcast provider, probably by about 8:30, 8:45 Eastern time, if we are on our game.
We are. I feel it today.
All right. All right, everyone. Have a great rest of the day. And here's some further information about the Ringer Renegades Facebook group. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Embrace the renegade in you.
Ooh.
Been working on that.
That's a little bit like what I've been thinking about my book title. That might be a good closing. Good job, Bob. All right, everybody. Have a great day.
Carving your own path is tough. You want and need a community to offer you insights and advice, share inspiration, provide support, and save you time and money. But where do you find all that? Here's the easy answer: the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, where leaders, entrepreneurs, and business owners identify their next steps. Here's some of what you will find at the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. Just go to ringofrenegades.com and join today. Find and accomplish